Do you even need 12 speed on a road bike? It's a really good question, and one I'll discuss in this video. So keep watching if you want to find out what I think of 12 speed. For the last few weeks, I've been riding this very nice Canyon Ultimate CF SLX in fetching Movistar team colours. Basically, as close as you can get to riding a team bike without a pro contract. So much easier, really. And it's spec'd with a brand new Campagnolo record 12 speed group set. So it's launched this year, 2018, along with Super Record above it if you've got really deep pockets, and the first dedicated road 12 speed group set. Campagnolo was also the first to go 11 speed way back in 2008. So yes, it's really been 10 years since 11 speed was introduced. I can't quite believe it, really. And before that, it was also the first to go 10 speed. Now, strictly speaking, Campagnolo isn't the first to offer a 12 speed group set. SRAM has that honour with its 1x12 Eagle mountain bike group set. But there, SRAM has used an extra sprocket to remove some of the limitations found by getting rid of the front mech and going from a double to 1x by using a massive 52 sprocket combined with a 10 smaller sprocket. So increasing the range of the cassette to get around taking away the front mech and so on. Campagnolo hasn't done that though. It's a company focused on racing. Its history, its heritage is all on winning races and meeting the demands and the needs of racing cyclists. And that's what this group set is. So they've used the extra sprocket, that 12 sprocket, to decrease the gaps on the first 7 sprockets of the cassette. So the previous 11 speed had the first 6 sprockets going up in 1/2 increments and then a 17 to 19 jump. Going to 12 speed has meant they go 1/2 increments on the first 7 sprockets. So that's all about meeting the needs of racing cyclists, where having that small gap from one gear to the next can be a real benefit in a lot of racing situations. The high speed racing when you're on a rivet and somebody really pushing the pace and you need 1/2 increment gears at the business end of the cassette. It's offering just 2 cassette options, 1129 and 1132, which coupled with a choice of double or compact cranksets should cover all requirements from the pro racers riding in the mountains to sportive riders who are expected to pay for this new group set. Now, if you're wondering if they've introduced a new standard to accommodate the extra sprocket, don't worry, they haven't. There's no need to upgrade your wheel, your free hub or your frame. They've managed to basically make the sprockets narrower so that the 12 speed cassette fits onto the same 11 speed free hub as before. So if you've got Campag 11 speed and you want to upgrade to 12 speed, you can do that without buying a whole new wheel set and free hub and so on. So they've made the sprockets narrower. They've also made the chain narrower as well. Now, you might be wondering if a narrow chain means a decrease in strength and durability, but Campagnolo reckons it's developed the chain with some technologies that ensures it's as strong, as reliable as the previous 11 speed. I've been riding it for the last few weeks and it's been just fine. I've not had any problems at all. But the real test, the ultimate test for the durability of this new offering will be a long winter of grinding it through the rain and the wind and the sleet and so on. So we'll have to stay tuned on that one. So that's a lot of talk about the 12 sprocket. There's a lot more to the group set than just the extra sprocket. They haven't just slapped on an extra sprocket to record 11 speed and put it out there. They've developed a whole new group set. And as you can see, it looks totally different to the previous 11 speed. So there's a whole new style, whole new look. What do you think? First impressions? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, love to hear your thoughts. There's an all new rear mech. It's still made from carbon fibre, but they've made the cage longer, made the pulley wheels bigger just to increase the amount of chain wrapped on the cassette for better shifting under load. And as you can see, there's a radical new carbon fibre crankset. So like Shimano, they've now covered over the axle bolts. Before there's a big hollow axle in the centre. Now they've smoothed over it with a nice expanse of carbon fibre, increase the stiffness, lower the weight and so on. And moving away from the drivetrain to the rest of the bike, as you can see, this one got hydraulic disc brakes. So Campagnolo has been late to the disc brake party. I think Shimano on 2nd, maybe 3rd generation disc brakes. But Campagnolo, in some areas, don't like to rush things. And as I said before, they're a company focused on the needs of the racing cyclists. And because there's been little uptake in the pro peloton disc brakes, they've not rushed to the disc brake party. They've done a really good job on developing its first disc brakes though. So flat mount calipers, cool looking rotors, and best of all, the hoods with the hydraulic gubbins inside aren't much bigger than previous 11 speed record hoods. They're a little bit taller, a little bit wider, but not as tall as SRAM and a little bit bigger than Shimano. So they've done a really good job of packaging all the hydraulic internals inside the hoods with minimal change to the ergonomics. Those then are the important details on the brand new Campagnolo record 12 speed group set. But you're probably wondering, Dave, what's it like to ride? Well, For the last few weeks, as I mentioned, I've been riding this very nice canyon around my local roads here in the Cotswolds, trying to find out if the group set is any good or not. And I'm trying to answer that question at the beginning of the video: do you need 12 speed? And well, the first thing to say is the group set works really, really nicely. As you'd expect from a company like Campagnolo with all its history and heritage, it makes really good group sets, and this is a really, really nice group set. But do you need 12 speed? Well, to be honest, not really. If I was blindfolded and I wouldn't try it at home, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference from an 11 speed record to a new 12 speed record. It's certainly not a game-changing development it might have been if Campagnolo had been bolder with its range of cassette options. In this configuration, the benefit is really, really small. For racing, and if you're really fussy about your cadence, there are definitely situations where having an extra sprocket would make a noticeable difference. But for the most part, for most riding, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference really. So the benefit is small. I'm not saying 12 speed is a bad thing. I mean, this is the future. Shimano and SRAM will undoubtedly follow Campagnolo as they did 10 years ago with 11 speed. And we're looking at 12 speed becoming the standard group set on high-end bikes to start with, then trickling down to more affordable bikes over the next 5 or 10 years. While I didn't really appreciate the benefits of 12 speed for my riding over the last few weeks, there's definitely no downside and no drawback to having that sprocket. So you can have 12 speed with no drawbacks. And if you're looking to buy a new bike or you're upgrading, then going to 12 speed is a no-brainer really, if you can afford it, because you need some deep pockets to afford this group set. While I didn't appreciate the extra sprocket, I did appreciate the changes to the rest of the group set. In particular, the hoods. I've always found Campagnolo hoods to be really ergonomic. They feel really nice in the hand, and that's no different with these new ones. Really nice rubber material, and they kept the height of the hood, despite the hydraulic gubbins inside, really compact, so they feel really good in the hands. They're still using this distinctive paddle layout. So you've got a paddle behind the brake lever and one just inside the hood for changing gears. It's a love or hate thing really. You either get on with it or you don't. Very different to Shimano or SRAM, but I don't mind it really. I find it really easy to use. They made it easier to use and the shifting performance even nicer than previous 11 speed. So they've changed the shape of the brake lever, so the reach from the drops is a bit shorter, easier to brake and easier to change gear. And the gear levers are now nicer to use. The shifting performance is quite a lot quicker, a lot sharper, and there's more feedback as well. I really like the feedback you get with Campagnolo. Now, Shimano shifting and the latest Dura Race is amazing, but sometimes the shifting is so quiet, it's so smooth, you don't notice you change gear. That doesn't happen with Campagnolo. There's more feedback both through the fingertips and through your ears as well. You get real nice clunk when you change gears. Another benefit of the Campagnolo shifting design is that you can change multiple sprockets in one go. That's really handy if you're racing when you're at the top of a climb or at the bottom of a descent, you need to dump a load of gears in one go. So you can shift down a cassette up to 5 sprockets or up a cassette 3 sprockets. So really handy, really useful for racing. So shifting performance is really good. Shifts are really quick and precise. You can change gear under load really well. I had no problems, no misshifts at all during loads of different scenarios, and I really tried to find its limits and try and do some really silly shifts, but nothing fooled it. It worked really well every time. I should also talk about the braking performance, because these are the first Campagnolo hydraulic disc brakes. So late to the party, like I said, but it's done a really good job. The brakes work really well. They're very similar to Shimano in the lever feel, quite light at the lever, easy one finger braking, but plenty of power, a nice progressive feel, just really easy to control the braking force, the braking power that's there, and I've not had any problems with them at all. No noise, no squeal, no rub when you're out of saddle, just really reliable, really good, a really good alternative to rim brakes if you want to make the leap to disc brakes. So well done Campagnolo, you might be late, but you've done a cracking job. So should you rush out and buy Campagnolo Record 12 speed? Well, if you've got deep pockets and you can afford to, and you're buying a new bike anyway, then sure thing, go for it. It's a really nice group set. While you might not appreciate the benefits of the extra sprocket, the rest of the group set will win you over. Shifting performance is really good, brakes are really good, and the group set looks really modern and contemporary, and it looks really good on a modern frame like this Canyon Ultimate. But for the rest of us, don't worry, 11 speed still works really well, and we're not going to miss out on the extra sprocket. So to conclude, you don't need 12 speed, but 12 speed is probably going to become a lot more common in 5 or 10 years time. There's no downside to having those sprockets. I think there'll be more exciting developments on the way. Hopefully Shimano and SRAM might have a bolder vision of how 12 speed can enhance our riding experience. But for the most part, we can probably stick with 11 speed. So that's been a little first look, first impressions at a brand new Campagnolo Record 12 speed group set. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our channel by hitting that red button below the video. Got any questions about Campagno 12-speed? Got any questions about 12-speed in general? Or any questions about the bike, the Canyon Ultimate here? Do let me know in the comment section below. Love to hear your feedback as always. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time.